What up, Fight World? It's your boy Ego, and I'm back with some more boxing. Make sure you guys smash the like button. Also, subscribe to the channel for the latest in boxing. Now, I just read an article on ringtv.com, link in the description, and it says there are already advanced talks going on for Joe Smith Jr. to fight Adonis Superman Stevenson April 29th in New York. And I think that's phenomenal. And I want to give my thoughts on it. Again, link in the description for the article. I think it's a great fight. Obviously, two guys with power. Joe Smith Jr. looks like he has a big size frame coming off a Bernard Hopkins win. Not only did he beat Bernard Hopkins, he was the first out of Felix Tito Trinidad, Oscar De La Hoya, Kovalev, ton of guys, punchers, Tavoris Cloud. He's been in with a lot of people, Bernard Hopkins has, and Jean Pascal. None of them knocked him out, but Joe Smith Jr. did it. You could attribute it to a layoff, the Kovalev loss, the age, but at the end of the day, Joe Smith Jr. still capitalized and pulled it off, whereas a lesser fighter, Bernard Hopkins, probably could have pulled a rabbit out of the hat, but Joe Smith Jr. was focused and determined. In fact, me personally, I knew nothing about Joe Smith Jr. before the Andres Fonfara fight, and instantly became a fan. I like Fonfara, but Fonfara was climbing back up the ladder, and out of nowhere, this Joe Smith Jr. comes, and I'm like, okay, let me check for him. Then he comes back with another 2016 big win against Bernard Hopkins. So how could you not be a fan of that, right? Like, this, to me, this is like, if you really think about it, what Joe Smith Jr. is living, this is what they make movies on. You know what I mean? This is the American dream. This is like a guy with an all-American name, Joe Smith Jr. He's a worker, right? And see, this is the other thing I like. After his Bernard Hopkins win, and you'll see a picture in this video, he went back to work. He's a union worker in New York. There's a lot of jobs, union jobs and construction and stuff. He brought his belt and went back to work the good old-fashioned way, right? So obviously he hasn't received that type of payday yet where he can focus only on boxing, and that happens. People don't understand stuff like that. I know tons of boxers, won't even say any names, but they have actual jobs too, and they box. So just think about that. Like, think about if you guys have ever had a 9-to-5, which most of you probably have had at some point, had a 9-to-5 job, and being dog tired after a long day of dealing with customers or pushing paperwork and sending emails, whatever you do at your job, right? And then going to a damn gym, a boxing gym at that, training for an hour and a half to 3 hours. You know what I mean? And training so you don't get knocked out or whooped by somebody else who's trying to take your head off, who may even have the luxury of boxing being their only job. Because I know other people who don't have big names, but they have a lot of sponsors and people are sponsoring them, so they're able to go through the boxing game and the ranks and stuff and climb the ladder with sponsors and not having to have a regular job. But I respect Joe Smith Jr. I think the Adonis Stevenson fight is a good fight, and it's a world title shot. I can't say that Joe Smith Jr. does not deserve an opportunity. He clearly does. I even did a video, the 2016 Breakout Stars of the Year, and I put him on the list. I think I had four fighters or so that had great 2016 years that weren't really buzzing in 2015, but now people are checking for him. And Joe Smith Jr. was the person that I closed the list off with, because I really believe that. I think he had a sensational year. He went from pretty much little known, unheard of, to knocking out two, premier ranked light heavyweights. That, like I said, it's the American dream. Now, my opinion on the Adonis Stevenson fight, again, it's a good fight with power. Both guys, obviously, Adonis Stevenson is more experienced. They both have a loss. Adonis Stevenson has a stoppage loss to Darnell Boone, and then Joe Smith Jr. has a stoppage loss also. Some people don't know that. And it's a good fight. Stevenson, obviously, more seasoned. He's done more in his career, had title defenses, so he's been on the big stage and done the things, and jumped in the ring on Kovalev after, Kovalev Pascal too. He was like, "Oh, I'm the real Superman. Superman. It's me, big guy." Like, Adonis sometimes sounds like, what's that, Eddie Murphy Raw, when he was like, "Eddie, What have you done for me lately? Like, that's, I don't know. He has that real distinct voice that, it's me, real Superman. I'm the big man. And he's like snatching the mic or whatever. But I like Adonis Stevenson also. He's a good fighter. He's left hand dominant, but that left hand is ferocious. I thought the Thomas Top Dog Williams fight was a good fight. And Williams was trying some things in there. Shout out to my dude, Top Dog. But he ended up getting stopped in that particular fight. So the Joe Smith Jr. fight is a good title defense, right? Kovalev Ward's talking about retiring. Even if he doesn't retire, there's a rematch clause, so we'll probably get that. Better Biev hasn't really. He looks like the dude at light heavyweight, but he clearly hasn't had enough big fights or whatever to get like an Adonis fight or anything. He just has to keep working up the ladder. So this is a rightful fight and a meaningful fight. I do think, however, this fight may be a little bit premature for Joe Smith Jr.'s sake. Like for me, I talked about this on the Monday Mail Day. I probably would prefer to see Joe Smith Jr. fight a Sullivan Barrera, Unisquif Gonzalez, Shabransky. You know what I'm saying? Like a guy that maybe has like one loss or something that's still notable. Jean Pascal, somebody notable in the division that's not a pushover, not a bum, but a hometown kind of feel good fight without fighting a champion like Ward, a champion like Kovalev was, or Adonis Stevenson. That's my personal opinion. But this is boxing. It travels at like 120 miles per minute, and that's what happens a lot of times. But I've seen it time and time again. Sometimes when fighters are on the fast track, Adonis Stevenson is a very dangerous fight for Joe Smith Jr. I'm not saying he has no shot in there. Obviously, he has equalizing power, but he doesn't have the same, even with his wins, he doesn't have the same level of experience as Adonis Stevenson. I mean, I'm not taking anything away from his wins. I just spent the whole opening stanza of this video giving him props. But these are facts. The Fonfara fight, it was only one round. He did it, and that's good. You know what I mean? You're not supposed to make the fight go on longer than it needs to. But the point being is it was only one round. So that's not experience in the deep waters and stuff like that, because you just knocked him out. Cool. Bravo. And then you look at the Bernard Hopkins. He was 51 years old, and no one can change that. He was on a long layoff. And the reason I'm bringing up Bernard Hopkins' age is because that's a fact. I mean, there's not many. How many top champions you know that are 50 plus, or top fighters? You know what I mean? Bernard Hopkins was the only alien or whatever that was doing that was fighting guys that were that much younger. You know what I mean? We've seen Floyd do it to a degree, like where he's 37 or 36, Canelo's 23, but I mean, Bernard Hopkins was pushing 52. He's probably 52 right now, or this month he turns 52. So that's a far cry from Adonis Stevenson. Adonis Stevenson is not that old, and he clearly has more power in the division than Bernard Hopkins. Bernard Hopkins he evolved his style, he was crafty and stuff like that, but he maybe had respectable power, like if you're Bebot Shumanov or somebody like that, but he doesn't have like top 3 power like Better Biev, Kovalev, Sullivan Barrera, and Joe Smith Jr. power. I mean, that's pretty apparent based on if you watch any of these guys' fights. So it's a different fight because Adonis is fresher, he's a champion. Bernard Hopkins wasn't a champion. He lost his belts to Kovalev, long layoff, and he was 51. So me personally, I probably would rather see like the realistic like business side of me. I'd rather see Joe Smith Jr. built a little bit, because this is, to me, rushing him a little bit. But it's boxing. I mean, he's already proved people wrong 2 times. Hopkins fighting and Fonfara. So maybe that's just me just playing it safe. I don't know. I mean, the selfish boxing side of me, I'm just like, oh, it's a good fight. Make it. 2017's jumping. It's already popping. So I see it both ways. But I mean, for me, if it were me, if I was in Joe Smith Jr.'s corner, I don't know that after a tough schedule from Bernard Hopkins, at least on paper, those were supposed to be tough fights. I don't know if I would put him in there with a champion like Adonis Stevenson with several title defenses, knocked out Chad Dawson right now. I think I would build his confidence and build his fight game. I did see some vulnerabilities and things that a 51-year-old Bernard Hopkins showed. I'm not saying he got exposed or nothing like that, but again, is different. A 51-year-old with moderate power versus Adonis Stevenson with more confidence, younger, still a champion, etc. But I'm excited if it does happen, April 29th. It's a good fight, man. And they just did in New York, they just revamped the NASA Coliseum or whatever, however you pronounce it. And that's a location that they're scouting. So I like that. Stevenson fights in Canada a lot. Have him fight in New York. I think that would be a good... I don't know the actual distance, but I think Canada to New York, I think it's still travel distance, depending on what part of... Obviously, Canada's pretty big, so it depends on what part. But certain parts of Canada, people from Canada can travel to New York, and it's a fairly reasonable trip. Let me know what you guys think. If this fight goes off, Joe Smith Jr., Adonis Stevenson, I like it. Let me know what you think. Drop it in the comment section. Make sure you share the video, like the video. As always, hate, comment, and subscribe. Till next video is Ego signing off. So if you enjoyed this video and want more content like this on the channel, you can show your appreciation by going to the PayPal donate button or the YouTube support button. And you can donate any amount that you feel is equivalent to the value of this video. Much more to come. Thank you guys for your support. Boxing Ego, the future of boxing.